Okay, so welcome to today's next level session. As always, chat your questions in. I do have to be off at 2:40 today. I got to get to an appointment somewhere else. But 40 minutes should be enough for our topic. It will be kind of filled by me, but I should have 10 minutes after the first half hour to answer any questions you guys might have in general about KV Core. So yeah, the topic is targeting other buyers, other agents, and then this would work the same. What I'm going to show you today, it would work the same for any scenario on YouTube. So if you're generating buyer or seller leads, it'll work too. It just kind of, we've had a theme this week. You know, on Tuesday we did our kind of recruiting thing. I touched on that yesterday, and I just want to continue that theme. So it's targeting other agents and or buyers and sellers with YouTube subscriber placement ads. Oh my goodness, what does this mean? The premise here, I'll explain in detail, is that you can choose to show video ads on YouTube to subscribers of specific YouTube channels. So you can say, I want people who subscribe to XYZ channel to see this particular video. And I caught a YouTube tutorial, it's very meta here, about this a week or two ago, and I was like, whoa, this is powerful. It's like one of those kind of like esoteric little features built into these ad platforms that you never get around to playing with. And then I've been playing with this in a couple of different ways the last week or two, and the results have been awesome. So I want to show you guys how to do this. And then for our recruiting campaign in particular, what we're going to do is we're going to target local subscribers of popular real estate coaching channels. And the logic I'm using there is you probably wouldn't be subscribed to Tom Ferry if you weren't in the real estate business. There's not much reason to be subscribed to him. You know, maybe you like his general business coaching, but you know, you're most likely a realtor. So I like the idea of targeting coaches. You could probably like target some other local things like your local MLS board, you know, if they have a lot of YouTube subscribers and things like that. But the real estate coaching channels will grab a lot of people. So what's needed for this this process, as I kind of do the setup here, the first thing you need is you're going to need some kind of video designed to generate leads or subscribers. You're going to need that list of channels you want to target. The good news is for this specific thing, I've given you a handful that'll get you pretty far here. You know, that you guys can use in any market. It's just these handful of names. I'm sure you know some other coaches. So I have that on the list here in the doc, which I will share to you all now. Let me just do that. Share this doc to you so you have it for later in the chat. And then the last thing you need, you're going to need that Google Ads account, because to run the YouTube ad, YouTube, not Google. So all YouTube ads are run out of Google since Google owns YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the video I made this morning for recruiting for Forever Florida. And we can talk a little bit about the video creation. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this very well. So if you can't, I don't think you need to. It's just my voice. You're used to hearing it. And it's 41 seconds long, but you'll be able to see because you're just going to read it. I made a nice little thumbnail, so it looked a little semi-professional here, a little more professional than a lot of the stuff I do. So I made a YouTube thumbnail in Canva, and then here's the video. So the actual number here, you guys, this is a KV Core text response code. Don't text it. I haven't built it yet. So I have, because I haven't run it yet, but as soon as I run this ad, I am going to need to go into KV Core and build out this text response code. But you know, you would use KV Core for the call to action. You could also mention a URL in your video. You could say something like go to joinforeverflorida.com. Another domain that doesn't exist yet, but to drive your traffic. But the idea here is that the ad itself is going to get people to watch this video. So you want them to be able to take some kind of action at the end. Now, the actual building of this video, we've talked about this a lot in these webinars. All I used was Google Slides. So, you know, that's drive.google.com is where I always go. And then I just do new Google Slide. And then let's go to the actual, this particular video here. Here it is. So I just, put the logo on and I write the text on a black background, and then the bullet points are here. And then the fancy video overlays, that's just Screencast-O-Matic, which I talk about almost every webinar. Screencast-O-Matic will let you do those overlays, and I just added those little arrows and text and things like that. So this might seem really complicated to build, but this was actually like a 20-minute video to create front to back for me. I understand maybe it'd be an hour for you. I do this stuff every day, but it's really not hard or expensive to do. Screencast-O-Matic is $50 a year, no big deal. Google Drive is free, YouTube is free, right? So the actual doing of this stuff is not super cumbersome. So that's our video. And all it's doing, by the way, is it's just highlighting every real estate company. If you're recruiting, you have a handful of bullets like this for sure. And what we're really trying to do is just put it in the mind of local agents that, hey, Forever Florida is an option when you're thinking about switching offices, right? And I think this is a good way to go, as we talked about on Tuesday. All right, so that's that part. We made our video. Next, we need to research the list of channels. So like I said, I did that for you. Of course, I was aware of a few of these things. I shamelessly am plugging the Inside Real Estate channel, which now has 19,000 or so subscribers. So there might be a few hundred in your market who are subscribed, so why not? The biggest one I could find was Tom Ferry. Maybe, and if you guys in your chat want to tell me, are there other coaches that I've missed here? I have Tim and Julie Harris, Josh Shanley, my buddy. Your local MLS, so this is my stellar MLS here in Florida. They have a channel. They don't have a lot of subscribers, but whatever. Somebody subscribed to their channel. I know they're a real estate agent in my area. And then Kyle Handy, EXP guy, he's a KV Core user. He's just killing it. You should subscribe to his channel. I really like what he's doing. Ricky Caruth, I don't know so much. Maybe some of you guys do. Then we got Mike Ferry, and I found out Mike Sherrard. And I'm sure there's 100 others that you could research and find. But realistically, if somebody's subscribed to Tom Ferry, they're probably subscribed to one or two of these other ones. And what I'm figuring out as I run a lot of these campaigns in different verticals is that you really only need like kind of the bigger player or two, and you're going to pick up most of them. So Will's saying, is black your background color of choice? I usually use white or black just because it's easier. In this case, I use black because a lot of Forever Florida stuff is black. I before I started doing any kind of marketing with them, she already had kind of this motif going. And she has white too. But if I go to the really what I did was I went to foreverfloridarealestate.com and I was like, where can I grab the logo? I grabbed the logo. I was like, oh, it's a white logo on a dark background. So it'd be easier if I made the background black. But I personally like the black. I know that they say that it's not as easy to read for a lot of people. And probably if there is a little psychology or science behind this, what I've heard is older people, maybe whose eyes aren't so good, I'm going to start including myself there because the eyes are failing, would rather have black print on a white background. And then when my son, my 17-year-old, he's got his phone in dark mode all the time. So younger people like dark mode. And in this particular funnel, really, we kind of do want the more techie, kind of like younger, savvy people. Not that we're not happy to take a listing agent who's got tons of inventory and wants nothing to do with KV Core as well, right? So, but yeah, that's an interesting question, Will, because it might matter. Who are you? Always think about who your target audience is, and maybe if you're doing a 55 plus campaign and you want to work with retirees, the black background's probably not so smart. So definitely something to think about. Cool. So we've got our targeting list ready. And now what we need to do is we need to hop into Google. We need to hop into the ads platform. So I'm going to do that. I told you as I was warming up here before we went live, this campaign that I built, it's a video campaign on YouTube, just to show the power of doing this stuff. It has gotten us 263 clicks to this listing at $1 a click, which is fine as far as Google goes. But the click means that they watched the full video tour of the property with me walking through the property. I showed you guys this video like 2 weeks ago. So think about the branding, top of mind status that's building, the logo of the company sitting there. They're watching this thing for 5 whole minutes and then they're clicking over. It says 41 conversions at 822, so it's generating some leads, which is pretty cool. And look at the number of views. So YouTube ads are where it's at, but we're going to do a different kind of YouTube ad today. This particular ad, the reason I want to mention it, this is one of those skip ads, right? Where you're trying to watch a video and then something plays in front of it. It's slightly annoying. I never see them anymore because if you spend a lot of time on YouTube, you just pay Google not to see the ads. But they work really well. The kind of ad we're going to do today is actually this is a banner that shows next to other videos when you're searching. So I'm going to try to find an example of this. Let's just do real estate coaching. I want to see if I get. So when I do the search for real estate coaching, our video is going to show in the search results here. It's not going to automatically play. That's basically what we're doing. And I can't tell if YouTube tells us whether or not it's an ad or not. Let's do KV Core. I just want to see what happens. Yeah, not sure, but they basically organically return your video in the search results. So if let's just say an agent in my area is searching for something, there's a good chance that my video is going to show up, and YouTube does all that work to make it show up. All I know is that I only have to pay 7 or 8 cents to get them to click through to this and watch the video. So I don't really care how they do it, but that's where our ad is going to display. So I'm going to go here. Where did it go? And now we're going to go ahead and create this campaign. And this is the nitty gritty. And I just learned how to do this, so bear with me if I'm not so great at it. All right, so I'm going to go to my overview. Where's the campaign creation button? Google, you drive me nuts. There it is. You got to click the all campaigns up at the top left, and then I'm going to click new campaign. And again, this is recorded because I know I'm going to get the questions. This is recorded on our YouTube channel. But I'm going to now click create a campaign without a goals guidance right here. I'm going to choose video. I am going to choose custom video campaign. Just leave it as is. We will leave our bid strategy. We'll give it a name. So Forever Florida recruiting placements. This is more for us just to know what it's about. Now you can do campaign total or daily. Campaign total is good if you think you might forget you did this. So I could just say, hey, just spend 20 bucks total on this thing. I happen to be somebody who's looking at my ad accounts almost every day, so I'm okay with doing like $5 a day. It's not going to kill me if I miss like 5 days and it spends an extra 25 bucks. But if you are worried about that, you can control your budget by just setting a campaign total amount, and then you would set an end date right here for when you want it to stop. And you can actually set the end date even if you're setting a daily budget amount. So I can say, just run this bad boy for a week. You know, I'm going on vacation, right, or something like that, and then you run it for a week to see what the results are at $5 a day. Now the location. This is pre-selecting based on that last ad I ran, but I definitely do want to only target, since this is a recruiting ad, I do only want to target people in my county. That's kind of our recruiting radius. So hit target. And then I'm going to hit this advanced. I just want to make sure, sometimes Google has this thing where you're targeting people in your area or people who are interested in, but I don't see that here. So I'm not going to worry about it, but we're targeting our county. Languages, I just leave as is. I mean, you can be specific and just say English. If you're recruiting Spanish speaking agents, then naturally you'd want to maybe do that, or any other language. And then here is where I am going to get a little fuzzy, right? Here's where I'm still learning. But from what I understand, you can actually do the expanded inventory if you're not worried about your ads showing next to certain things. But if you are worried about your ads showing next to racy stuff, it's probably not a concern for us as real estate people. But if you have a much broader audience and your topics aren't usually just about real estate stuff, you might worry that it would show next to videos you might not want it to. So you can think about that. I'll just pick the expanded because I want to get as many views as possible. Now I don't need to do this excluded types. I don't quite understand this related videos. So to increase engagement, maybe that's another webinar. I need to learn more, but I know that what I'm doing here has worked really well. So I'm going to keep going. You can show on all devices right here. If you want to, I've heard other advertisers say, hey, you don't want to show on TV screens because it's hard to take the action. But I do, because depending on your video, my call to action would actually work really well. It would actually work almost better if somebody was watching on TV, because they can then take out their phone and text it. If they're on a mobile phone, it might be hard to remember that and to text it, right? They'd have to like get another phone or write it down or something. So these are all things to think about. You always have to think about the experience. I'm going to leave everything on for now because I just want the traffic, but maybe later I'll say, hey, maybe I'll only show my ad on tablets, TV screens, and computers, and I'll take off the mobile phones, right? So, and if I remember right, I thought you had to do an adjustment here to actually get this targeting stuff to work, but maybe they've changed that. Okay, you can even target like iOS versus Android, so you can get really, really granular. Frequency capping. I can say, hey, I don't want the same user to see the same my video more than twice a day. And that could be useful because, you know, you're going to spend money if they do. Or you could say you don't care. So for now, just to get as many impressions as I can, I'm going to leave those unchecked. But there might be cases where you say, hey, I don't want them spending too much money, so I'll cap the frequency. Okay, ad schedule, you can set certain times if you want. And then my ad group name, I'm just going to name this coaching channels. So something that you would understand. Now we're going to get to the fun part where we start to target those channels. And what we're going to do is we're going to skip demographics. We're going to skip audience segments. We're going to skip keywords, and we're going to skip topics. All of these are relevant at some point. If you're YouTube advertiser, you can use this in all different ways. But what we're going to focus on today is placements. And I'm going to pick placement here. Well, I'm getting worried that I didn't pick the right objective here to make it one of those placement ads. I told you I was going to get a little dizzy because I had to watch and learn how to do this, and I'm trying to remember from having done it only 3 times so far. But let's go ahead and put our placements in. And it's pretty straightforward. You see where I can click on YouTube channels? I can kind of just click that, and then I can start to put the URLs of my YouTube channels in. So you guys got to watch me do this real quick. So I'll just paste it in, and I'll say yes. Okay, and then I will paste the next one in just to save time, so you don't have to see me switch back and forth. I'm going to use my other monitor here, and I'll just start dragging these over. So you can actually just paste, hit enter, check it off. See, Tom Ferry, he has 505,000 subscribers. He dwarfs all these other channels, and that's why I think, you know, getting the few big ones are really going to be what gets you the traffic. Tim and Julie, Josh, and I won't do all these right now. I'll go ahead more later, but you guys get the idea. So you paste in the ones you want, you hit enter, and now our ads will show to Josh's subscribers. I'm gonna pull some of these stop him from recruiting in my neighborhood. there's something to that too, right? If you have a competitor, right, and you know all their agents are probably subscribed, it's kind of an interesting way to show your videos to your competitors' agents, right? I wasn't even thinking that way, but it's an interesting thought. And then my YouTube video, well, that's easy enough. I just need the URL to the video that I made, right? I'll put that in there. Okay. And this is where I was like, remember I scrolled up before and I was like, did I pick the right placement? And now I'm remembering. Here is where you choose. So you can actually do a skippable in-stream ad and have it play for 30 seconds before people watch stuff. I believe on these, it would be if they're watching videos on those channels. But what I'm really trying to do, I'm doing in-feed video ads. So again, it's that kind of, you're searching and this is in their feed. YouTube's going to show it. Okay, so choose the in-feed video ad. And in my headline might be probably just what I have in the thumbnail, thinking about switching offices. Again, from Tuesday, what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, at any given time, like 5 to 10% of agents in my market are like, they might be thinking about it, right? Maybe not right away, but we're planting the seed. Description, see what we have to offer. Awesome offices, great tech, and leads. Right, so I have 35 characters. Great tech and leads. So of course you guys will do what you do, but this is, you know, grab a few of your bullet points. You do want the person on YouTube reading this, you want them to click through to your ad. So paying attention to the thumbnail, I've got the pretty girl looking at the text. This is a template that I found on Canva. And then, see what we have to offer. Awesome offices, great tech. And I say leads because we know that leads are what a lot of us want as real estate people. So I try to get that in there. If I had, maybe I should even do, I might even do solid commission splits, right? Might talk about the compensation a little bit. Solid commission splits, awesome offices, great tech, and leads. Okay, so that's our creative. And then down here, we're going to go down below, and YouTube says, give us a CPV. That's your cost per view. And they are recommending, this is the highest I have seen, actually. And I think I know why. But a view it's either 20% or 20 seconds or 25 seconds, I believe. I'm going to open this, see if they explain it. Oh, a view is counted when somebody watches 30 seconds of your video. Or if it's like a 25-second video and they watch the whole thing. Now think about that. To get somebody to watch 30 seconds of your content with how hard it is to compete, how hard it is to get attention these days with all the other ads and everything else people are seeing, I'm really happy to pay for that if the number's reasonable. Now, in my other niches, I have other things I'm doing. I've been paying like 7 or 8 cents for a view. But I think the reason that Google is suggesting 46 here is because I'm in a very small area. They don't have a lot of traffic. So, they can't really surface my ad, have it compete with a lot of people. And the channels that I'm using don't have relatively a lot of subscribers. It's only about 500,000 and change people, where I'm doing some stuff with futures trading. That's millions and millions and millions of people. So it's easier to day trading. It's easier for Google to get me the results. So they're telling me 46 cents. Now I'm sitting here thinking, am I willing to pay 46 cents for somebody to watch 30 seconds of this particular video, knowing that if an agent eventually joins our office, what the lifetime customer value of having an agent join your office? And the math works the same. Am I willing to pay 30 seconds for a local homeowner in my market to watch my presentation about 5 ways to get top dollar for their house, like 5 staging tips, whatever the content might be? And you're like, well, I pay 50 cents for them to actually watch 30 seconds. Yeah, I would, right? They hear my voice, they see my face, right? That's reasonable. And you do the calculation. Maybe it's not reasonable, but in my case, I'm going to say, all right, you can take your dang 46 cents. Damn. So I'm going to do that. This is kind of funny to me though. Look, they say they say to set it to 46 cents, but then they're telling me my average cost per view will be 3 cents to 9 cents. So I'm going to give them the whole budget, and then maybe I'll adjust that later if it's spending too much. So that's about it though, guys. I have done the actual mechanics of setting up this campaign. Again, it's an in-feed video ad. We've got my video in there. I picked some channels to target. I do believe that you'll be able to see a broken down cost per channel of what it's costing you. So you might see that some channels are getting you cheaper views than others, or better results. You can see like the view rates and all this other stuff, I'm pretty sure, and optimize later. But I'm personally only about 2 weeks into playing around with this. I'm happy with the results so far. So I'm translating it here to real estate. So I'm gonna click create. And just like that, let me hit continue to campaign just to make sure it's live. Okay, campaign is pending. Okay, they're creating it. Just like that, any people, most likely agents who are subscribed to Tom Ferry in my market, as they're doing searches on YouTube, will see this particular video selling the benefits of joining our brokerage here. So what do you guys think? I think it's pretty cool. And again, it doesn't have to be just recruiting, right? It could be anything. If you want to, what would you do? Let's say that somebody is subscribed to Zillow or Realtor.com's channel for whatever reason, what would tell you that here's a better example. Let's say that my niche is real estate investors. So I only want to work with people who want to buy fix and flips, or they want to buy income properties. Well, then what I would do is I would probably start to do like real estate investing for beginners. Let's do that. And let's see what big YouTube channels. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Bigger Pockets is out there, right? So I would definitely, any subscriber to Bigger Pockets, which a lot of you guys are probably familiar with, right? They're one of the big boys in the space. Any subscriber to Bigger Pockets who lives in my market, well, I know that if I put a video up of a fix and flip deal that I just listed, there's a good chance that that person's going to watch the video. So this is how kind of targeted this can be. Yeah. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Cecilia. Yeah, so possibilities are endless. Probably the biggest hurdle for you guys watching this is making the videos, right? And you notice the video I made, I wasn't on camera. It was just my voice, but I just used, you know, there isn't a big hurdle here. I just used some slides and I read the slides. I used a cheap Screencast-O-Matic account and my free Google account. And then at a budget of $5 a day, I get a pretty good result here. I also think that this, go ahead and walk into a listing appointment with this, right? So go into a listing appointment and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm doing this really cool thing with YouTube. I'm going to get a really nice video of your property made, right? Or I'm going to walk through, but I'm going to hire a videographer. We're going to spend a few $100 bucks. We're going to get a nice video made. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a YouTube video to everybody who subscribes to the Rob, say it's a luxury home. Everybody subscribes to the Rob Report in our area who's got finer tastes, you know, who could afford a $2 million house. They're going to see the video tour of your house on YouTube. I'm going to set that up for you. I think this is pretty cool. And I don't think it's something that a lot of people are talking about. So yeah, sure, Cecilia. Cecilia's asked, can you go over what you used to create it again? Absolutely. So the video is right here. I have 4 slides. This is Google Drive. So inside of Google Drive, you can do a new presentation. It's basically, hold on, now I'm drawing a blank. What's the PowerPoint, right? Or Keynote on a Mac. So you can use PowerPoint, Keynote on a Mac, or I really like Google Drive because it's on Google and anywhere I go, I can just, you know, grab it. It's not like tied to a specific computer. So I come into Google Drive. To change the background of the slides, you hit background here and change the color. So it initially is white when you first start. You just change it to white. I usually make the first slide, and then you can right click on the slide and click duplicate like that. And then I just edit the next slide. So I put my logo on one slide, you know, and then I right click and do duplicate. I'm sure PowerPoint and Keynote work pretty much the same way. I haven't used those in a while. And then once I've got kind of the text here, and this is a good template, guys. Your first slide, if you say something like, if you're thinking about, you're kind of like calling out the person, what they might be interested in. And you say, hey, if you're trying to do this, then you should check this out, right? And then here's the this, right? And then at the end, you do a call to action. This is a very simple little sales video. So once I've got this recorded, I spin up my Screencast-O-Matic program. It's screencast-o-matic.com, my favorite video editor. Again, a pro account is, I believe it's still $49 a year. And I'd probably pay at this point, I'd probably pay 500 or 1,000 a year just because I use it so heavily, but it's really good compared to the cost of other video editors. And then I draw my box like so. Draw it around there. I go to the first slide and I start reading. If you're thinking about changing brokerages in the near to mid future, oh, I forgot to hit the record. You got to hit the record. If you're thinking about switching brokerages in the near to mid future, you might like what we have to offer. It's all this stuff, text confidential, right? So you do that, you hit pause, you hit done, and then you click to edit the video. And then I use the baked in, you don't even have to do the extra editing stuff I'm going to show you now. But you go tools and I can do overlay arrow. So when I want to point the stuff, I do that. And then I draw where I want it to go. That's kind of how I made those little effects. And then when I'm done doing my little edits, I hit done. And then I click upload to YouTube. And the first time you upload to YouTube, you'll have to add your YouTube channel, right? So I have a bunch of channels here that I mess with. So I want to upload this to my Fair Florida channel. If you need to add a new one, it'll just say add account first time, and then it'll open up YouTube to authorize it. But yeah, that's the video creation. I couldn't sleep this morning. I was up. I was so excited about this webinar, guys. It was on my mind. Got it up, whatever, 6:45, and I started recording this. I was done by like 7:10. So I'm not saying that to brag or anything. I'm just saying, like, this doesn't need to be. Once you're used to doing it, you can. It's like a superpower. I promise. This is a really good thing to be able to do. in your life and in your business is just make a quick video communicating what you want to communicate and getting it on YouTube. It's worth kind of struggling through and figuring out, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's what I had for today. Forget what we called this, but we're basically doing, we're targeting whoever we want to target with YouTube banner ads. So for buyers and sellers, would I use Zillow and Realtor.com? I might. The only thing with Realtor and Zillow is if somebody subscribed to Zillow, they might have been looking for a house a year ago. That's the only thing I would worry about. But yeah, that's why I use the example of the real estate investor. You might be better off thinking about the niche a little more granularly. So, you know, who is your target and what might they be interested in? So if it's a first-time buyer, like what would I, you know, I'd have to go thing by thing, but a first-time buyer, you can actually target specific videos as well. I didn't show that, but instead of targeting the channels, you guys saw it. I chose a channel, but say there's a video about how to buy your first house. So how to buy your first home. And say you find a video that's got a million views, how to buy a home. And look, this one's in 2022. So I know it's recent, right? It's this guy, Graham Stephan. So this, I could target anybody who's watched this video. That would be a smart thing to do for buyers. So Zillow and Realtor, maybe, but you know, it could be other realtors subscribed. Yeah. So you just kind of think about it, right? Like just on a case by case, but it's definitely, the possibilities are limitless, and YouTube's got the traffic, man. There's so many people on YouTube using it like their TV channel. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, you know, I used to talk a lot about Facebook, and Facebook's still very legit. We still talk about it a lot, but more and more, as I watch my kids and what people are using, where they're consuming content, where I'm consuming content, I feel like YouTube is the hot spot. Could you run a video on Google Sheets that would play when you do screencast? Yeah, why not? Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand your question. You could use Screencast-O-Matic for whatever's on your screen. So if you make a cool sheet that's like, I use this investment tool to do investment analyses sometimes of properties. It's like a real estate investment calculator. It's like the first thing that pops up when you do that. And what I'll do is I'll record a video. So say you built a sheet that did calculations. Is that what you're asking? And you could have Screencast-O-Matic on here, right? You just record yourself using the sheet. The real estate investment tool I was talking about, real estate investment calculator.
Hey Ryan, it's Kelly. I'm stalking you on your webinar today. You know I love to get some great tips and tricks, and I couldn't help but see that question that came in. I think she's talking about like running it on a presentation mode where you've got it already animated and built out. Will Screencast-O-Matic still capture it if it's in presentation mode?
Yep, as long as it's on your screen.
Hey, Ryan, are you using the free version of Screencast-O-Matic or do you use the paid version?
I use the paid.
Awesome. Okay.
Yep. So only because if you use the free, it puts the watermark on it, and I think you don't get the same editing tools.
Agreed.
More limited. Yep.
Yeah, and I think you can do longer videos too.
Yep. Yeah, they even host them and you can embed them. It's really cool. So Jess asking, once you find a video to target, how do you put it into the ad? So let's go back to our setup here. So we're going to go back to the placements. And you saw I had channels, and then you can see I could do YouTube videos. And then I would put the actual video right there, the same way I did channels. You can actually target websites too. So you could target like Zillow.com. I'm pretty sure what they do is they say, hey, this person was on Zillow, and then I want to show them an ad on YouTube. And then, of course, I'm sure some of you guys are figuring out your competitors' URLs could be typed in here too. So Google knows, because Google Analytics is everywhere. Google knows that somebody is on your competitor's website. So you could start to target that way. Was it 400 million on Zillow? Yeah. So guys, as I said up top, I apologize. I just have like a commitment here at at 3 p.m. and I have to drive to it. So I'm not seeing any other questions. Yeah, so Kelly's here as well. Guys, I just have a little bit of news. I think we're going on a little bit of break for the next few weeks, maybe in almost to August. I will no longer be with the company after today. So I just want to thank all you guys who have come to these webinars over and over again and been kind of following this stuff. I really appreciate all your questions and feedback. But I'm going to be moving on into some other stuff. So thank you. All the videos, everything we've done is available in the Next Level members area and on the YouTube channel. And I think you guys know where to find me if you want to friend me up on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. Feel free to reach out. But again,
hey Ryan,
yeah.
I think I speak for everybody here and anybody who's been on your Next Level sessions for the many years that you've been bringing us this great content. We just want to say thank you so much for all of the valuable insight, information, coaching, tips, tricks, strategies. I feel like you are the guru of marketing, and I know I speak for everybody here. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. I know you've taken a lot of people's business next level, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelly. It's been really good to work with you too. I'm sure we'll be talking soon. But yeah, guys, the training team, we've got some real talent on the training team headed up by Kelly. So in the next few weeks or months, you'll hear more from Kelly and team, and I'm sure these sessions will continue in some form. So thanks a lot, everybody, for the kind words. And thanks again, Kelly. See everybody later.